Call up to the gods and reach the sky. The scourge of society is now in session. Because you are following us on Instagram at Scourge of Society, where you've seen MetallicA play or tease Injustice for All. Many of you have. And also youtube.com/Scourge of Society. I am MeTOMicA, here as always, directly across the Tornado Alley up to the left a little bit is my co-host Kyle. Kyle, how the fuck are you today?
I am doing good, and yes, Tom did just see MetallicA in Tampa, and we're all very jealous of him. He actually caught Lars Ulrich's drumstick in his butthole, and it's still there to this day. So how has that been feeling, Tom?
I wouldn't remove it. Why would you? What kind of question is this? You're going to come at me with slander?
I was just slander? Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. We were all wondering, like, how that feels to walk around with Lars Ulrich's drumstick in your butthole.
It feels heavenly, majestic. I feel such a privilege to have that man's snare stick up my stink hole. It feels good.
Well, more power to you.
Yeah, I did just see MetallicA in Tampa. And spoiler alert, this show is going to be a MetallicA Love Fest, so kiss our ass. Metallica is our favorite band. Fuck you if you're sticking around for it. That's awesome. Fuck you, JFW, for no particular reason. We'll just say that. So yeah, it's gonna be a Metallica Love Fest because I just saw him in Tampa. And Kyle's saying that we are all jealous. I think it's you. You're the only one because even Brad made it out for one show.
Yeah, but didn't he get like stuck in a doorway trying to get Nintendo Switch 2, and that's why he couldn't make it on time?
I think that did happen. I think that's exactly what happened, actually.
Or actually, you know what? I think he was making out with an animatronic Yoshi. That sounds more like him.
That does sound pretty accurate. He was. There were some cops from the Mushroom Kingdom looking for Brad the other day. Now that starts to make sense. Gonna have to look into that one a little bit. But yeah, so drummer of Scourge, who hence the Scourge come from in Scourge of Society, was there as well. We spent both nights in the Snake Pit. So, fucking just off the bat before I kind of get into the shows, great nights, set 1 and 2. Just very typical to the same style that Kyle and I went to back in August in Chicago. Night 2, I mean, the band had energy both nights, but night 2 was just different. They were on, it was different, they were better. They also the band spent more time over by us night 2, so naturally I'm going to say that was better. It was good stuff. Good stuff all around. I've just got to, and Kyle knows this well, and we've said it before, but when you do MetallicA weekends, there's a vibe, there's a feeling, there's just, it's really all that matters. Like nothing else matters. Hey, other than the band itself and just like the things, and there's always happenings, and there's a feeling in the city that you're in, and it very much felt that way in Tampa. You know, people were there for Metallica, and it brings people together. It brings annoying cult-like people as well, and I'm going to call some people out in the Snake Pit when we get to it, but it was just a lot of fun. And I'm going to just always recommend, if you can do it, if you can swing it, and just the enhanced experiences, because they just take the anxiety out of it. And Kyle, I don't know if you want to start here and get into a little bit, but you know, back in the day when you and I were just or late teen, early 20-something, going to see Metallica, we had no money, you know, we were making shit, so we'd buy the general admission ticket and we'd wait fucking forever in the cold or in the hot sun just for the rail to see Metallica, right? So it's like an enhanced experience takes all that shit away. So I feel like we should regale the audience a little bit on some of our tales on the rail. So do you want to share some of those for us? More memorable.
Some of the tales that have taken a few years off our life, because most people don't realize when they watch videos of Metallica and they see people in the front row, they don't realize how much it takes, how much effort you have to put in to be in the front row. I remember many years ago in 2017 we saw them in Soldier Field, and I was dating somebody at the time. It was very brief, and she was a bit miffed because she couldn't come with, or we didn't get tickets or whatever. And I was like, you don't want to be a part of this. Trust me, you don't, because it is an all-day affair. And Tom and I have gotten up at like the butt crack of dawn to get there and like wait literally all day. And we all, if you know Metallica, you know that their start time might be 9:30, but they're getting on stage probably 10:30. Okay, so it's a long waiting affair. You don't get the luxury of peeing unless you're just going in your pants, which, let's face it, I mean, if you've been on the rail, it's going to probably happen. And you know, and other times you don't sleep at all, and you try to drive home from 6 or 7 states away, and then you end up crashing into a guardrail. So, yeah, Tom and I have had many tales, and it's hard to believe that, like, you know, we've been fans for almost 30 years, right about 30 years actually. And Tom and I've been going to shows since 2005, I believe. I think the Summer Sanitarium was the first one I remember, you know, going with you. We had a big group. We took a limo.
2003. That was 2003.
Oh yeah, wow.
July something 2003.
That was like the one and only time I saw Linkin Park, which, you know, they did exceptionally well. And I remember we saw James like watching their set, which was really cool. And I swear to God, he looked at us. And I know this sounds like very fanboy, but when we saw him, we like yelled like psychopaths to get his attention. And I to this day, I believe that we got it, and he was impressed.
I believe it too. That was Summer Sanitarium 2003, and he was off to the side. That wasn't your first Metallica show. It was mine, though. That was my first Metallica show. I've been to 23 others since, 24 in total. That was my first. I think that was Chris, our buddy Chris's first. My buddy John's first.
Was Joe there?
Joe might have been there, but he wasn't with us. God, Mike I don't think Mike went to that show. I don't think you did, Mike. Tell me if you went to Summer Sanitarium 2003 in the limo and stuff. I don't think you did, but I know you. Got it. I know Mike was around for Lala 2015. But anyway, I'm off the beaten path. Yeah, he looked over at us, and that was the first time I ever laid eyes in person on a member of Metallica. And you know, I'm 17 at the time, right? And this band, God, means so fucking much to me and to us. But speaking for myself, and to not go down the road, I want to have fun and regale about them in tour. But just to let you guys know how much they mean to me, it's Metallica feels like the only thing in my life from start to finish that's never let me down. Outside of my wife and that, but I'm just talking about when I was a kid, when I was getting into them. You know, something you can always count on. You know. You have trouble with family. You have trouble with friends. But from start to finish, there's something about Metallica that they're always there for you. And I found comfort and solace, and I found myself in this band. So I will forever be grateful for being their fan and being alive while this band was in their peak. And I'm beyond grateful. I've been able to see them 24 times and beyond. And I got to see them more. But it was the first time I ever laid eyes on a member of Metallica, and for it to be James was almost poetic, right? Because Kyle and I could talk about just a bond or connection you have with somebody you don't know. It's weird to say, but it's there with people who write music, right? Am I off path here?
I think when you write and play music, you just look at it differently. It's not just going to a show for a good time. You look at everything. And you learn from watching these great individuals play their instruments and create this wonderful music. And so, you take it more seriously. And I've always found, like, when I'm writing music and performing music, like, I pay attention to bands and get into it a lot more deeply than when I'm not doing that. And so, like, Metallica was a big influence for all of us, and even the members of Scourge, except for maybe the guitarist at the time, or he was kind of into it, but he just probably rolled his eyes because we were fanboys.
Yeah, but I will give it to Hannah, our friend. We've talked about him before, but Hannah showed his respect, and we were with him during his first Metallica show ever in Indy in 2009. I remember him saying, he's like, fuck, man, that was so good. I get it. And he always showed his respect. He had his thoughts, but he showed his respect. He was a fan.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you really can't not be. And the only ones that, like, are not fans are Megadeth fans. And for the life of me, every time I see an article with anything regarding Metallica, it could be Metallica donated $10 million to some relief effort. Some dumb piece of shit will say, you know what, Dave Mustaine is a better. And I don't understand these fans. I don't understand. They are so far off the beaten path and so filled with jealousy. Dave Mustaine is not a better guitarist or musician than James Hetfield.
No.
Or Kirk Hammett, for that matter.
No.
And if you listen to, and if you don't believe me, if you listen to the old, tapes of him doing solos on Kill 'Em All, they pale in comparison to Kirk Hammett. And that is the hill that I will die on. It's not about how technical you are. It's about what you can write. And Metallica has always written circles around Dave Mustaine. Stop while you're ahead because you know you're wrong. Dave Mustaine isn't selling out big auditoriums, arenas like Soldier Field. I'm not hating and saying their music is bad, but I'm just saying, just stop yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. You're 100% wrong. That's it. I'm sick of seeing it.
And for all the Chicago fans out there, I just want to let you know I'm letting him off the hook by saying Soldiers, and just acknowledge that I know it's Soldier Field. So just the
did
whole
I
city.
Say Soldiers?
Yes, you did.
Fucking hell! The first time I didn't though. I said Soldier. I was. It's a thing in Chicago. It's like you don't call whatever the fuck's the Sears Tower is called now. You call it the Sears Tower.
Right. It's the Sears Tower. Yeah.
And Comiskey Park is still Comiskey Park, even though the Sox suck. If they ever change
terrible.
Wrigley Field, it would always be Wrigley Field. You would never. For some reason, these places just don't. Even if they change the name, they're still going to get called what they have always been called.
Oh yeah, Chicagoans are very hesitant to change in saying no to diabetes, but I digress. So Metallica, so it means a lot to us in that first show. But God, we were getting to. God, I forget where we were at, but waiting in line, right, on the rail. Kyle and I have sweat our ass off. We've frozen our ass off.
Sat in the rain, too.
Rain in Madison, Wisconsin. And that was an enhanced experience, too. So I crashed my car while Kyle was in the front seat falling asleep because we tried to get back for a skirt show after spending 14 hours in line at Bonnaroo 2008. Done a lot for this band. But if you could, what I'm trying to say is, it's like when you've put in your lumps and you've bled and waited in sweat and God knows done other stuff, almost died for the band, right? The enhanced experiences almost seem trivial if you can swing them on it, money wise. They're not cheap, but I didn't feel once for this enhanced experience, and I did the Moth into Flame experience for those who are wondering. Or if you got shows coming up, if you're going in Denver or Santa Clara, you're listening to this and you've got enhanced experiences coming up. Moth in the Flame is legit, that's the one with the snake pit. So you don't have to worry about standing in line outside in the fucking heat all day. Now the Chicago enhanced experience, the line I know that our buddy Tim was out in the heat. It was out in the sun. But this one, Tampa, we got lucky. It was underneath shade both days. So it really didn't matter what time you rolled up, because check-in was 3:00 and you got in a line that barely anyone else was really in. So then you check in and it's you get access to the Black Box Lounge, and thankfully in Tampa there was an entrance to the floor via the Black Box Lounge. So the enhanced experience is so worth it. I cannot guarantee, and they don't always ever do early entry. There's a rumor that sometimes that they might, or if you're Moth in the Flame, you're going to beat a good majority of the people who have entry into the Snake Pit, except for the Nothing Else Matters. That's the Meeting Metallica package. And if you take your time, some people who maybe are in front of you who waited in general admission with Snake Pit all day will get in the Snake Pit before you, but don't sweat. You're going to get a great spot. So the Black Box Lounge is so fucking fantastic. It's got Metallica memorabilia in it. They serve food, not a bunch, but there's food. There's They give you 3 complimentary drink picks. Actually, I only used 1. I've got the picks. I kept the picks. I cared more about those than I did the drinks. I kept all those. They give you the opportunity to play the band's instruments. You can play on Lars's kit or put headphones on and play one of the band members' axes. It's so cool. I picked up James's silver LTD, just stared at it like it's like a chrome finish to it. And it's just amazing that they give you the ability to do that. But then, so once day 1 in Tampa, I actually surpassed a good amount of that because I wanted to get to the snake pit as soon as possible. Because I told Tim and his fiance that I'd meet him in the snake pit because I was getting in there before them. They had snake pit tickets too. So I eventually just found a spot, like the lowest spots in the snake pit are always taken up first, and unfortunately I didn't get to that, but found an open spot towards the stage, and there is no barrier between you and the stage. You are leaning up against the stage. You are touching it. You are putting your hands on the stage that MetallicA will be on later. And Ice Nine Kills and Limp Bizkit for night 1, and Pantera and Suicidal Tendencies night 2.
So the snake pit, I mean, if you've never seen it before, anywhere you stand in there is really a good place.
Yep.
You're really, like, they did a really good job at designing this stage, and you're gonna see the band, and even Rob, the bassist, will come out like surfing in the crowd at some point during the night, which is really cool. And so yeah, I mean, it's once you're in Snake Pit, like, you don't even need to. I would probably go as far as saying, like, you don't need to do the long haul of waiting outside all day. You can just show up at showtime and you're golden.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that was my whole point of kind of telling us earlier that you and I have put in our time. We've put in the bruises and the war, and we've bled. But if you've earned the snake pit. If you've earned that chance and you have that, and I know some people won the tickets in there too. I met somebody on night 2 who had tickets way up in the nosebleeds, but they found out that they won snake pit tickets for Sunday. So that was awesome. That's like so cool. But yeah, it's worth it. So night 1 and 2 we were basically in the same spot. Right. So the snake pit's in the middle of a in the round stage where Metallica walks around all night, and Lars has 4 separate drum kits that come up. He starts one in one area for like a quarter of each set he plays them on. We were at the drum kit towards the end of both set lists, so we got like the encore songs and like the songs like Fuel, Moth in the Flame, Master of Puppets, Enter Sandman 1, the popular ones that they always end with. We got those songs, and that's where and James would always, he'd be a little bit ahead of Lars, so he got to us in the mid to back half of their sets both nights and sang songs like Whiskey in the Jar and Wherever I May Roam and Sad But True in front of us. And it's like once you see him that close in the snake pit where you could basically, your arm hair is inches away from just their, guitars and their tech and their cabs and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. I remember just sitting there taking a second and just looking it all in and just be like, I don't deserve this. It's just like you just feel. I don't know. I mean, there's experiences like this for any type of fandom, right? If you're Star Wars, maybe it was going on the Halcyon for the first time, or it was stepping into Galaxy's Edge, or going to Lucasfilm or meeting George Lucas, something like that, or Harry Potter fans. Kyle has talked millions about the Warner Brothers tour, the amazing tour in London that he had gone to not terribly too long ago. Maybe it's that, but this is like our experience, right? Just to be able to see it, and it was just awesome. It was just awesome. All the band members to come by. I caught a pick from James, caught a pick from Rob, and Kirk did not get a Lars drumstick. Tried, but that's all right. It was funny, Kyle. Lars had problems with his 4th drum set on the first night.
Really?
Yeah, it like wasn't coming up. It wasn't like rising up and ready in time. So like he played like the first song like on the 3rd drum set, and then eventually made its way back. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Metallica's always like pretty humble about their mistakes. Like they don't freak out unless it's like the Grammys where they played Moth in the Flame. I mean that's different. Man. But usually Metallica's pretty humble. I'll never forget listening to some EP album. Or, well, I don't know what you would call it. Maybe it was I forgot where this was from, but it was like a live show.
Is this the Ride the Lightning one?
It's the Ride the.
It was from some kind of. It was from Some Kind of Monster EP.
Okay, but they put that out there for people, and of course we got it. And like in the middle of the song, James is like, "I forgot the fucking words," which is just hilarious. And that's not the first time. No. They've all plotzed at some point.
Oh,
and it's still awesome.
Here, lead right into it. Moth into Flame. They were playing on night 2. James was just a little off left to us, singing on the microphone, just a little bit off left. And the guarantee and then you can go and kill yourself. That part in the middle. They started to play it, and James has his back to the microphone, looking at the crowd, and like 5 seconds goes by. He's like singing it to himself, and he's like, "Oops!" And he runs back to the microphone, and he's like, and he like finishes it. And as he finishes it, he turns around and like looks at the crowd. He's like, "Oh, whoops!" It happens, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it happens. There was a bit of a mishap when they did Battery on night. What was it? Night 2. Yeah, there was a bit of a mishap for Battery. Like Lars wasn't situated. I think his in-ear monitor might not have been working. His drum tech was working on him, and James didn't start the riff on time because he was like waiting for Lars because Lars' tech was there, but Lars was telling them to go, and then James was just like didn't understand. I couldn't tell if James looked pissed or not, if he was just like that was just his face. But I guess it's fun shit you see when you've been to 20 plus odd shows. So.
Did you have a favorite song of the 2 nights?
Oh, night 1, I always go back to If Darkness Had a Sun. That fucking song live is so crunchy ass metal. It's like dun 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 dun. It's just the guitars are so perfect. So I'll vote for If Darkness Had a Sun on night 1. Night 2. Night 2 was so good. They were. I mean, they're on both nights, but there was just something magical about the second night. I'm going back just to reprise my memory of what they played. Night 2. Here we go. So they played Whiplash, Bells, Ride the Lightning, Memory, Lux, Screaming Suicide, Sanitarium, Wherever I May Roam, Cthulhu, Unforgiven, Whiskey in a Jar, Battery, Moth 1, and Sandman. Night 2's best song, my favorite song to me, I would say Call the Cthulhu. Rob played a lot of that part over by us, and his bass was turned up a bit, at least through the monitor that I could hear. So, I mean, just as a bass player and just a fanatic of the band myself, just to hear Rob's part of Call the Cthulhu a little bit louder, especially when he hit those wah bass, parts, and like this, he's playing Cliff's part, right? This is Cliff's part we're talking about, Call the Cthulhu. So, hearing that whole song live again, that's like that's the third time I've heard that song live. It's still fucking awesome. And then hearing the bit.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hear the bass in the mix, and then James was even smoking a cigar in the middle of that song. It was just so fucking cool. So it would be called the Cthulhu Night 2.
Did you ever see one of James's guitars where he has in the inlays, like the original 3 members of the band, and then on like the bottom half of the fretboard, and then in the middle part it's Cliff?
I have seen that guitar. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I remember seeing a video of him explaining it. I'm like, that's just so cool. Like, even after all this time, 40 years later, like, Cliff is still, like, in their heart and mind and present, in these shows, which I think is awesome. Yeah,
he dedicated Orion Night 1 and then called the Cthulhu Night 2 to Cliff. So good shit. Cliff's a part of every show moving forward. He's part of the 40th anniversary shows that Kyle and I were at, and he's a part of them moving forward, so it's good shit. So, yeah, you were right. You said Rob comes in the middle of the crowd. I was right there during night 1 after Sad But True. I had no idea he did it the second night, too. I think it was can't remember what song it was, but I just remember getting kind of pushed in the back, and so I'm like, all right, here we go. So I fought it off. And then when I turned around, I'm like, oh, people are moving because Rob's coming through.
I got a question. Has Courtney ever gone with you in the like up front for Metallica, or she's not into that? No.
Definitely, yeah. It's not her vibe. We did it a little bit in the night before in San Francisco in 2016, but we soon got out of there after the second song, and we watched from afar.
It's a big ask, but like I haven't been up front every time, and I remember it was Lala in 2015. Like I walked up at noon, and I was pretty close. I was maybe, I want to say like.
And that had nothing to do with me and Tim sweating our ass off, and Mike and Joe waiting forever in line for that.
You guys waited all day.
Yeah, we did.
You guys were. I remember Tim specifically was just destroyed. Like his face looked like horribly sunburned, and you could just tell like he put in the time. But I remember I walked up and I wasn't that far from the stage, and I'm like, you guys, that sucks for you.
Yeah, fuck.
I remember I went out and I got food and I got like water, and you guys like couldn't move at all, and I was just laughing at you the whole time.
And why were you late? Because you diarrheaed all over your kitchen or something? You were making brownies and you diarrheaed over your kitchen?
Well, let's just say I was betrayed by the local Chipotle in downtown Chicago, which everybody can understand.
Everybody can understand. This is Metallica. This isn't Poop Fest 2027 or whatever year it was when we saw them.
Well, it is Chicago. It is Chicago. You could practically just shit on the ground anywhere here, too, so maybe...
Hold on. Chicago is a lot of things, but it's a clean city. This isn't San Francisco or insert California town.
Or, a Disney park ride queue.
Oh, wait a minute now. Yeah. That was Lollapalooza when Kyle waltzed up at noon when the rest of us had put the time in, and he was like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Like your pissy ass shit ball of a neighbor. That was the last time Mike came to a Metallica show with us. He's been through more of the hell than you have, specifically, at least recently. You fuck.
How so?
I don't know. I just felt like saying that.
No, yeah,
that
that's
show
wrong.
specifically. That show specifically.
Mike gets credit for nothing. He's a turtle man. With a D, not a T.
There you go. We've been to the, there's just each batch of shows or each Metallica show itself, just different feel to all of them. I've been asked a lot, like, what's my favorite one? And I feel like it changes. The Las Vegas shows, the 10-year anniversary just passed for those that I always talk about. That was a personal, pivotal, life-changing weekend for me. So that's always high up on the list for me. The Madison show that Kyle and I waited in line for, and the Jim Brewer debacle, and when I got Lars's when I got Lars's attention on Instagram and he followed through and tossed me a drumstick, like that's a fun fucking show.
We had so much interaction at that show, and not only were we like you can clearly see us in two of the live videos they released for that show, but like we were right up close with the band, and I got fist bumped by Kirk twice. And it might not be a big deal for other people, but like holy shit, that made my life. I'll never forget that. That blew me away.
Bro, dude, James, as he was coming out night one, slapped my hand. And Lars slapped my hand another time in Tampa. Like, I'm 39, and I internally screamed like a fucking 5-year-old that just met like Santa Claus or something. I don't know. This shit matters. I mean, as long as you're not fucking weird and a douche about it, it's fine. Like what you like. Who gives a shit?
You know what I would love more than anything is I would love to see some of the really old shows that I've been to. Like my very first show was at Hawthorne Racetrack in Chicago. I don't know if it's still this place is still there. I have no idea. But I was 14 and I was with Tim, and it was the only time. This was right before Jason left the band, so this was like 2001 or 2000, I think, right around there. And I would just love to just go back and watch like that performance. I don't think it's anywhere to be found. I know they started recording live shows at some point, but
2004 they started to catalog everything.
But man, I would have loved to have seen any like pictures or something from that, because it was just a long time ago. It's like one of the only times I got to see Jason Newsted, which is really cool.
Yeah. How were you general? I assume general admission was at Hawthorne, right? So it was all standing room only.
What I remember is I went with, it was Tim. I think my brother was with us, and Tim's dad, and we initially were on the ground floor, so we weren't right close to the stage, but we were like in the middle of it, and we watched the first couple of bands. I remember that was like the first time I smelled pot. And I was like, "What the fuck is that smell?" And I learned pretty quickly what that was. But like, because it got too like crazy, we were still like pretty kind of young. Like we moved up into the stands, and we watched the rest of it from there. But man, I just remember one of the few things that I remember from that show was "Battery," the song "Battery," because when they hit, that it's like a slow opening, but when the whole band hits in.
Yep.
It was like a fucking wave of people. It just looked like the crowd looked like a sea, and just it erupted, and it was fucking madness and craziness, and it was just so awesome to see.
Okay, so that show was July 22nd, 2000 at Rockfest. It was held at the Chicago Motor Speedway in Cicero.
I believe Tim still has the tickets, not the ticket stuff, but like there was like some flyer, like little promo pamphlet that they handed out. I remember seeing this in his room somewhere. I believe he still has it, but it has the list of bands that were playing that day. So
wow.
I wish I still had that too. I still have the Bonnaroo ticket from 2008, so I consider that as
fuck yeah,
like great history.
I found the full show online.
From
it took
Bonnaroo?
me 2 seconds. Yeah, somebody's got it on YouTube. I'm going to send you the link right now.
I still have the magazine where you can see us in the front row.
Oh, no kidding!
From
fuck
that from that show, yeah. Because I remember I wore a backwards hat, and then somebody was holding up a sign, and so you could clearly. I mean, you might not realize that it's us, but like you and I know that looking at it, that was us. And
just you've looked the same since you were 14, so easy to identify you.
You know what? I'm glad you didn't get James's wristband that show.
Oh, at Bonnaroo? Yeah. I saw that guy at Tampa. I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah. I've seen him at so many other shows. I'm not kidding. Like he's just become someone I've seen. He's followed Metallica just as long, if not longer than us. So. Wow. I just didn't get a chance to talk to him. I have talked to him before. I saw him at Lollapalooza 2015. He was up on stage. Remember when they were letting fans on stage, like behind them? He won tickets to that. I've seen him at a bunch of other shows too.
Well, good on him. Like he's clearly a dedicated fan.
Yeah, but he was not in Halo on Fire like I was. So.
No, he wasn't, and neither was I. And Tom can go fuck himself.
You know what I can go fuck? It's that sandwich that you were eating. That horrible joke you made in a text that we will not share.
I don't know. Have we done one of those jokes on this show? What's the protocol? What's the standard now? Are they allowed?
You tell me.
Oh, you're waiting for me to fire the first shot. That's what you're saying.
More or less. I'm pretty sure we've had mother jokes on Scourge Society.
I don't know. Let us know, people. Did we make a mother joke? And if so, was it at Tom's expense? Because that would be great.
We're talking about Metallica here, you kumquat fuck. So
who says kumquat?
I said kumquat, and there was a kumquat.
What is a kumquat?
Oh, what is a kumquat? You're a fucking kumquat. It's a vegetable? I don't know. Just funny to say.
You're a vegetable. Yeah, that's right.
You need to be studied for like a new advanced version of mental retardation. I think you need to be studied.
Hey, they don't use that word anymore. That's offensive.
Retardation? Isn't that the right way to say it?
Nope. I think it's cognitive delayed now, which
all right, so you have a new form of mental
offensive.
Cognitive delay. It's called the Kyle.
That's fair.
Put it in the DSM or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay,
I'll
thank
allow
you.
it.
Thank you. I do want to. I do want to call. I mentioned a Metallica cultist type of fans. Now look, every single type of fandom has this. It's in Star Wars. It's in comic books. It's in movies. It's in politics. It's no matter what. In Harry Potter, theme parks. Theme parks is a big one. There's these cult gatekeepy fuckers that exist that thinks they deserve everything from, in this instance, the band. So, being afforded to many of the shows I've gone to, I've seen these types of people. Like 99% of the Metallica people out there, I'm telling you, 98, 99%, the family's fucking awesome. Great people that you can enjoy a night with and never see again, kind of thing, right? You know, it's they got your back, you got yours. I mean, you got to watch out for it because you get casuals that come in, but the ones who have been around the block, they're good people, right? And then you run into fools every now and again, like that 1%, I guess you can call it, but it's these people who have been to, and this guy specifically would not shut up about going to like 134 shows. Okay, good for you, man. You did it. You don't have a life. You've sacrificed getting laid to go to a show. You know, go to a Metallica show. Congratulations. And then sometime during the show, this James, it might have been when they were, God, it might have been when they were talking about the Make-A-Wish kid. I was at the first or second night, but there was one of the band members called out a kid specifically, and like I think he might have got something, or they called him out, and this dude was like, "Fuck them kids," and was like seriously throwing an adult temper tantrum because a child's night was made versus his in the 134 shows that his fat ass somehow managed to get to.
That's ridiculous.
Dude, you fuck you, dude. Like I really wish I would have known your name so I can call your stupid ass out on blast. But you were wearing a yellow shirt too tight for you. And then you're telling my buddy's fiance that you hate women straight up. Like, what the fuck is that all about? I don't know.
So a man dressed like a banana was upset about a kid's night being made.
Nah, a man who should have eaten more bananas, and he wouldn't be in this position. So
was it a Make-A-Wish kid? Because like how much more awful can you be? You sound like he sounds like an internet troll.
Well, it more or less dawned on me because I remember James calling out a kid from Make-A-Wish, and then I remember seeing him later as we were leaving the show. I just can't remember if it was like night 1 or 2, because this dude was a major douchebag on night 1, and a different guy later on was trying to steal a pic from this like 14-year-old kid and his dad. Like these adults, you adults out there who were not loved enough as a child, or you were loved too much, or you were told that the world revolved around you or something, you seriously need to go to shock therapy and then re-enter into society, because it's not all about you. Like you will choose to crush a child's innocence. These are children. They're innocent. You are not. You fucking unadulterated piece of shit. Like, you are not innocent. These kids are. So leave your foot off of the throat of their innocence before the world gets to them. Okay? And let them enjoy life a little bit, because you couldn't. And you're trying to recapture something. Do it on your own dime. Jesus Christ. I'm off my soapbox.
I know, like, I've caught pics at shows, and, like, I remember a time, like, I gave my pic to somebody, because I had, like, an extra, and there was, like, a guy that this was, like, his first show, and I just gave it to him, because, like, you know, I have a whole, like, shot glass filled with Metallica pics on my desk here, and, like, you know, I'm always going to want another Metallica pic.
Of course.
Don't get me wrong. However, like, you know, I'm really about sharing my passion with people, and if people are really there, you know, for a good time, you got to do that stuff. You got to like give people, you know, you got to help people out sometimes, and especially when, you know, the world is like a big pile of fucking diarrhea dog shit.
What do you mean?
You know, this is the one time that people are happy. They could do something that's happy. You got to give it to people. Exactly.
Just, it's all about the Lux Eterna, man. Just like chasing that light. It's just enjoy yourself, and the band tells you to do so too. The band tells you just enjoy yourself. So I can't thank Metallica enough for another fucking amazing weekend. I can't. I can't. I lost for words. What more to say? Were you there? Were you at any of the shows? I know I had some people reach out to me via Jedi Talk that were at. Somebody was at the show in Houston last night, and then who were at the shows in Tampa. Were you out there? Let us know. Are you going to any coming up? We'd love to know. Love to have an official correspondence from those shows too. Hey, Metallica, give us media too. Backstage passes or something. That'd be awesome.
Yes, please.
I want to talk real quick too about the bands we saw before. I'm so happy that I saw Ice Nine Kills in the Snake Pit because they're way better closer up, especially with that like stage show. That was cool. Their mix was a little weird. They sounded very, very, very subby. Just like the bass was turned up and like the treble was turned down and the volume was low. It was weird.
They're a hard band to make sound great. And I almost don't think that. And Big Open Arena is a great venue for them.
I'm with
they
you.
might sound better in like a theater or something like that. Their stuff is very produced. I love their shtick about everything is about horror, a horror movie. They did a song about Art the Clown from Terrifier. I think they're awesome. But when I saw them last year, I kind of thought the same thing. Like their mix wasn't as good, and I just wonder if it was just the venue, because sometimes venues can really kill a band's sound.
Yeah. You're right. I think it's the big football stadiums are just not meshing with them all that well. And then we got to a band I never thought I'd see ever again live, and that's Limp Bizkit. They just so happened to be.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked about that because I remember Summer Sanitarium, which was a show we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. That was the last show they did in Chicago, because when they came out, everybody was flipping off Fred Durst and telling him to go fuck himself. Yep. And they did 2 songs and that was it.
Yep. We chased him off. We fucking chased him off.
Which I felt bad for, because
Me too.
I think
now
everybody likes a few songs of Limp Bizkit. Not my favorite band by any means, but and Fred Durst is kind of a douche. Well, let's face it. But you got to be respectful for people up on stage doing that, because that's a lot of work.
He gave off douchey vibes, but at the show, and I don't know if this is part of the show or this truly naturally happened. I don't know. I really don't know. But a kid came up on stage who was wearing a red Yankees hat and a Limp Bizkit shirt. Fred Durst brought him on stage. He was in the general admission in the crowd. He brought him on stage and he walked him around while he was singing one of the songs, and he signed his hat and he gave him back into the crowd. He felt very non-douchey. He felt like this was a mature Fred Durst. Now, this was just a stage show I watched of Limp Bizkit, right? And Limp Bizkit was so funny, and I think Brad said this in our group text, but it was just they'd play a song, and then the DJ would fit as many popular songs as you could in, and then they'd play another song. And I'm like, is this their age? Is this what they do to break? I mean, it's Fred Durst, Wes Borland, the DJ, the bass player, and it is what it is. So, and
wow, that's weird.
Yeah, Pantera was cool as always. It was awesome to see Zakk Wylde that close, because that guy's a fucking metal god, and will go down in history as one of the top. I think Zakk Wylde's top 10 guitarist.
He makes it so effortless, and he's like John Petrucci when he plays. It's just if you're a guitar player, you just throw out your guitar after you watch these people.
It's crazy. And then Suicidal Tendencies were cool. We're awesome. Ty Trujillo, Rob's son, plays bass for them, so it was cool to see him. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Kind of got full circle, right? Rob played bass for Suicidal back in the day, and now his son's playing bass for him, and here they are touring with Metallica. So cool shit, man. Really cool. Cool show all around to see.
Yeah, that sounds like quite an experience.
And I got to give it out to the Lyft/Uber driver who shall remain nameless, because I will not give that person's name, because they're the real G, and I paid them cash to get me from the stadium back to my hotel in front of everybody waiting for rides on their app. So I paid a little bit extra in cash. It was under the table, and I got back before everybody. So shout out to that person.
That's cool. I heard it was there was like a baseball game going on at the same time, and it was just fucking crazy,
maddening. But you know what else is maddening, Kyle? And I'm just gonna let the Metallica play in the background for the rest of the show. We're officially moving on to a new segment, but this is a special Metallica Love Fest show, so fucking suck it and deal with it. But Resident Evil 9, man, we got it.
Finally, after all these years, I swear to God, every other day for the past fucking like 3 to 4 years, it'd be like, Resident Evil 9, we're going to get news, like, coming soon. And then it just wouldn't happen. And there were so many different theories about what it was going to be and what was happening, that, you know, we were just wondering, like, when are we going to actually get this? So I kind of fell off with it because the rumor mill was just getting old. But now we finally got it in the past week. And it looks amazing. And it kind of looks like it's going back in time a bit, because they showed Raccoon City.
Yep.
After they bombed it, which happened at the end of what was it? The
3.
third game at the end of Nemesis.
3 and 2, right? Both of them, right?
Yeah, and since then, and not that the game series is really known much for story, but we really don't hear much more about Raccoon City. But that's kind of where it all started.
Yep.
And what's kind of interesting is that
technically it all started in where Resident Evil 8 was, right, with the Mother Miranda stuff, when was it Oswald Spencer that found her research. So, but I mean, I'm being a nerd, but you're right. Where the game started, Raccoon City, that's exactly where we're going back. So cool. So
you start as a FBI agent by the name of Grace Ashcroft, and what's interesting is that she's connected with an old Resident Evil game that was kind of a spin-off called Resident Evil Outbreak. Her mom was Alyssa Ashcroft, and she was like a reporter that went missing or something like that. We don't really know much about her, but anyway, for what we do know, it's like they showed scenes from Raccoon City, but there was I forgot the name of it. It was like at a hotel. I forget the name of it, but
Ben something. Yeah. It
was like Renwood Hotel or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's cool is like they're letting you do third person or first person, which I think is a cool step, because the past couple games were first person, and like people have their preference. But it seems like they're trying to go more for survival horror. Like they want you to be scared, and they don't want it to all be action. So I think it's a great logical step. I also think that Grace Ashcroft might be the beginning of the game, but we're going to get Leon, which was heavily teased in the past couple years as the main protagonist of the game. So the cool thing that I heard about it, and as much as I hate stalker enemies, this one sounds legitimately terrifying.
Oh God!
And we have another stalker.
I can't
in this hotel.
I can't do these.
The thing that I hate about it is, like, you just never feel like you could relax. Like, I'm just looking for some herbs and shit and picking up ammo so I can reload before I go into the next room that I don't know what's waiting for me. You don't want to be like, oh, here's Mr. X and he's going to come punch you in the face.
Oh, God, Mr. X and Nemesis, those fucking bastards. Jeez.
But you know what's funny, though, is the mods for Mr. X and, like, Resident Evil 2. Some of them just got downright hilarious.
Oh,
Somebody put him in like a thong, and then when you see him bust through the wall, like coming after you, it's hilarious. But the funniest one was somebody made him into Thomas the Tank Engine. And while it was kind of a little creepy, strangely, it was also absolutely hilarious.
Hold on, I'm going to try to find it. Thomas the Tank, Mr. X.
Anyway, apparently the stalker enemy is very reminiscent of the movie Barbarian, where there's this like huge lady monster thing.
Hold on, I'm gonna play it. Hold on. I'm gonna play Thomas Tank. I'm gonna react to it live on air. You've seen this already, right?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay. All right, get to it already. Okay, here's Leon.
Jesus Christ.
It's playing the Thomas the Tank Engine music. Leon was like, Jesus Christ. The whistles. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. That's only got 29,000 views. Wow. Anyway,
Hilarious.
You said they were very reminiscent of an old monster.
There's a horror movie that came out a couple years ago called Barbarian, and it was like this huge, like 9 foot, 6, 7, 8 foot tall woman that was like a monster, and she would like sit below this like Airbnb house and then come out and like kill people basically.
Sure.
And so apparently that something reminiscent of that is what's after you, that's going to be stalking you throughout the first part of the game. And
Okay.
apparently Grace is not, while she's an FBI agent, she's more of like a researcher, and so she gets pretty scared in the game. So I like the element of going back to be survival horror, because I'll never forget playing Resident Evil, the first one, for the first time, and like they made an ambience that was just terrifying. Like you were afraid to go into the next room, and I'm looking forward to that. So there's a lot of mystery around this game, though.
That's good. That's good. It's being directed by the same director who did Resident Evil 7, which is encouraging because Resident Evil 7 was fucking awesome.
I think it's cool. And the other thing is they were saying it's like this is one of the biggest Resident Evil games of all time, and that it's been in production since Resident Evil 7.
Oh, wow.
So that's really something to hear.
I look forward to it, and it's so crazy what Resident Evil's doing, what Capcom's doing. Like all their remake games are the official canon for Resident Evil, because they're doing all this tie-in with the newer games, with like the Mother Miranda stuff, with like the mold, right? Or what's the official name, like the myomycete or something like that.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's great. I'm not the horror guy between the two of us. Like horror is Kyle's, and I've never gotten into the movies and stuff. But for whatever reason, Resident Evil, that video game, it's captured me since 1998. So
now that we're talking about it, I wish Universal would do like a Resident Evil haunted house.
I'd be right there.
Not from the movies, because the movies have pretty much sucked. But like from the games. I mean, could you imagine walking through that and you're like maybe in the police station, or like the old Oswald Spencer mansion? Like there's so many, or even better, like Resident Evil 4, just make it all Resident Evil 4. That's the one game I probably played the most times, replayed the most times, and I keep playing it. It's like it never gets old. It's such a cool game.
Okay, there was in 2013 at Halloween Horror Nights 2013, based on Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. It was Escape from Raccoon City. There was a house. It featured iconic locations like the Raccoon Police Department, on the Umbrella Lab, zombies, liquors, and Nemesis.
How the fuck did... Oh, well, yeah, they're probably not real people in liquor costumes. That would be dumb, but... Yeah, that would be cool to see. I'm really hoping... I know we got like an announcement about, I think, Fallout being a horror house, but I would love to see them do Terrifier, because that would be... Terrifier is the hot horror movie at the moment, and it's really blown up quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
And so if they could get the rights to that somehow and make a horror house, that would be... I would be 100% there.
Well, we'd get Kyle down to Florida, and hopefully he'd remain in that house forever. Well, you guys have been great. We've been Scourge of Society. Typically I've been signing off these new ones, but I guess we'll go a little old school since we've been talking about Metallica. Kyle, leave us with the final fucking word or something. All right, that's what Travis does, final freaking everything, but that one just slipped. So leave us a final word like you always used to do, and don't fuck it up.
Are you trying to be like Travis? I think you are.
Dear God, no.
Yes, you are. You love him.